The United Kingdom has approved the construction of a nuclear power plant by a French company with the help of Chinese funding. Prime Minister Theresa May has given the green light for the $24 billion deal. China is giving $8 billion towards the plant. The move was initially delayed over concerns of Chinese involvement in the country's first nuclear reactor in decades. Well, Sarah Firth joins us now from London to give us some analysis on this. Good to see you, Sarah. Look, when the words nuclear plant are mentioned anywhere in the world, it always causes controversy, but this particular deal seems to strike a little more than most.
It has, and it's significant that you've seen the government give the go-ahead to this project. It's a major project. It's going to be a very long-running project and financed at some $23 billion. Now, it's being financed by the Chinese and the French. And what you saw with the new Prime Minister, Theresa May, coming in was her putting the brakes on this deal initially over two main concerns, really. Now, number one, as you said, is this issue over Chinese involvement. Now, the Chinese have agreed to get in on Hinkley Point's nuclear power plant with the understanding that further down the line they'll then be able to take a project in Bradwell in Essex, in another part of the UK. Now, there are major security concerns around the implications for that. The government, it seems, have managed to get round that somewhat with the announcement that they've given Hinkley Point the go-ahead. They've also said that they'll now be imposing a new legal framework for future foreign investment critical for Britain's infrastructure. And now that's going to be really important because that addresses some of those security concerns. But as to the other major concern that we've seen from a lot of corners, this issue over the huge cost of this project, that hasn't really been addressed. Already today, you've seen some MPs coming out and criticising what they say is not a great deal for the taxpayer, but a very significant that we've seen the project get the go-ahead from the government now.
Sarah, you mentioned the cost there. Two quick questions for you. Why is it in China's interest to give $8 billion to the UK for this power plant? And why is something that's costing $24 billion still raising a lot of questions about the technical quality of this project?
Well, there are some major concerns there, but look, this is going to provide some 7% of Britain's energy in the future, and that's something that everyone has really been very focused on. The supporters of the project have really been pushing. There's a lot of concern, though, not just about the cost, not just, as we said from some MPs, the idea that this might not be a great deal for the taxpayer, but also that because of the length and scale of the project, that actually that nuclear technology might not be the most suitable by the time the project's actually up and running. But as to the Chinese involvement, that is it's interesting, and as we said, the Chinese have agreed to come in on Hinkley Point, which is a major project, very, very expensive, with the understanding that further down the line, they're going to be able to run a nuclear power plant in another part of the UK. Now, that is something that there has been major national security concerns over. Indeed, this issue of national security and the Chinese involvement is the main reason that you saw Prime Minister Theresa May put the brakes on this Hinkley Point project in the first place. With Hinkley Point, the fact that you've got this new legal framework means that the government now is able to intervene if the largest stakeholder, EDF, the French stakeholder, wants to sell some of their shares. The government have the capability now to intervene to make sure that this doesn't end up being all in the hands of one foreign body. But as to further down the line, it's unclear at this point what that actually means, because certainly from the Chinese perspective, they've come in on this project on the understanding that further down the line, that will be what happens.
Sarah Firth in London, thank you.